Hello everyone, hope you're having an excellent day today. I'm doing pretty good. We have a significant amount of progress to show off today, but more importantly, I found some clarity on some issues inside the creation that have been bothering me for some time. Finally, we're probably going to be talking about the packing process for a mock this size as it goes to its first convention next weekend in Jacksonville. Let's dive in. Let's start with the progress. This building over here, which I've called the cube building because it's kind of based off of a cube core structure, is pretty much completed after kind of introducing the bare bones of it last episode. The surface is complete, the top is complete. This is very much inspired by the Truist Plaza building in Atlanta. It looks just like it as far as the profile, kind of definitely reminds me of that, having driven by that building a number of times. It actually brings a smile to my face because it's so recognizable. That being said, I think the color scheme and the shape of it really still fits within the Tron aesthetic. For its first appearance in Jacksonville, I'm going to have the cube building be over here on the left. But long term, I want to have this building be replaced by a slightly larger building on this side, and it will be moved over next to the tallest building. And that's where one of our issues comes into play. The first thing I noticed after setting up the creation at this point. What issue is that, you might ask? Well, I think this building will look good next to the tall one because it's so far the shortest one I've made at only 28 inches tall. But I also think that the surface area with the lights has a little bit of issue in that how similar it appears to this big pulse building. When making this cube building, I literally cut some corners when I was applying the lights, and it has those wedge plates creating some angles in there. And I think that's going to basically look inferior next to these big wedge angle plates on this huge panel. It's just going to look not right to have that sort of similarity but inferior copy right next to it. Given that the original inspiration for this building was created in the 80s and 90s, the Truist Plaza building, I think it would be very suitable to have the lines in that building be much more right angles or even some squares or cubes going on. And I think that would give it a very unique appearance and a little bit more contrast to the very angular building right next to it. Since I'm airing out all my issues with the Tron build so far, let's quickly talk about the Pulse Tower over here. Overall, I think this really tall building looks fantastic, but there's one part on one panel that really could use some work. Here you can see a mirrored appearance between these two panels, and it kind of blends together, sort of, and I think it looks really good. But up here, that appearance is not mirrored on the other side. It was just because I ran out of wedge plates, it didn't have the right pieces, so I just had to go straight up. And I think it would look a lot better if it matched the bottom and the pattern was repeated from top to bottom. And so I think that I'm going to go back at some point and fix that so it looks better, in my opinion. In the last video, I was very happy to announce the pretty much completed bridge building. However, I didn't put the bridge building into the scene to see how well it integrated. This half had been seen in there before, but this half I'd never seen inside the build with the other buildings. And there's some problems with this, what's going to be your left side here. This back wall is all black. You can't see the light from the front. The only angle you could really see it from is blocked by this other building. So it's really almost impossible to see the best part of this building because it's tucked right behind the other one. So I'm going to have to pretty much rebuild 2/3 of this building in order to make those blade-like light sections visible. I'm probably going to have to shift this entire section kind of one 90-degree turn, and that way we can see all that good detail and not have it hidden behind another building. And you might think, wow, that's a lot of things need to be changed, but I'm still not done. The first building is not going to escape my scrutiny either. While I'm actually pretty much content with its appearance, the insides, the lights inside, are really giving me a lot of concern as we get closer to packing up this creation. Because this is the first build, I was still going off of the older mindset of using larger lighting elements inside buildings. However, that use here looks fantastic, but it creates a lot of horizontal instability. It's very weak. A karate chop to the middle would send the whole building tumbling down. It also is less modular, it's more heavy. It takes the longest time to set up, has the most wires. There's a lot of problems with this building on the inside. And after completing this bridge building and seeing how easy it was to get the fairy lights in completely vertical situations, I'm going to hopefully completely gut the inside of this building, switch it over to fairy lights, and it'll be a lot simpler both to set up and to strengthen the building and make it a lot more durable for transport. I feel pretty confident about moving all the other buildings, but this one I'm almost sure I'm going to have to do some major repairs once I arrive in Jacksonville, which I really want to avoid in almost any situation, especially at a large convention. Since we talked about packing and transporting a little bit, let's kind of break that down and describe what's going to be happening. The landscape chunks, which are mostly done at this point, there's a few areas still left to kind of pave off before we go to the first show. They will all stack very nicely on top of each other. There should be no problem to move into the vehicle and out of the vehicle and set up at the convention display. Should be easy to move those. The most recent building and the bridge building, these chunks are super strong. I have no worries about these at all. I'll probably toss them in the back of our rental SUV without any concerns. The larger Pulse building is a little more fragile. I think it will be okay though, especially since the top is removable. You can lay it on its side without too much difficulty. It should make it to the convention just fine. The original building, the Wave building, it's very fragile. It's gonna have issues. I think I'm gonna have to repair some parts on the inside, put some lights back up, and that's gonna be an issue. So as soon as we get back from Jacksonville, I think that's the first building that's gonna get some reworks done. The final thoughts I wanna share about this build before we go to Jacksonville is, unlike Rock Raiders, which was so big and heavy that it really didn't make sense to continue trying to finish it, I really wanna go the distance with Tron, with this build, because unlike Rock Raiders, when something's wrong, there's not 200 layers of bricks above it. It's easy to remove a building, work on it, fix it, change a panel here and there. Because it's so modular, I can actually improve things or go back and fix things without too much difficulty at all. And I want to keep this build together for the next couple of years. Just have it ready to display at conventions. I think people will enjoy it all over where I intend to bring it. So I think it'll be great to kind of refine it and improve it as I'm able to between the next few shows over the summer. And by the end of the summer, it should be really in excellent shape, should be perfect. I want to get this build as good as it's going to get for an extended period of time. So even though this build is just about done enough to bring to its first show, you can expect a lot more update videos throughout the summer and possibly beyond. Still a lot of work to do, a lot of improvements to make, and still some buildings to add and fun details along the way. I am probably going to be switching to a bi-weekly update basis for a while because these conventions will keep me a lot more busy than usual. Not to worry, we'll still do plenty of live streams, short videos, and other content between that time. Thanks a bunch for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.